Get rich or die trying. That's a phrase that I've been saying to myself recently. And where it comes from is basically every single rich person that I know has had a particular moment where they've basically had this as an insight. I'm going to get rich or I'm going to die trying. It's often not even an emotional moment. It's it's usually kind of like an objective, just logical decision. So I'll tell you mine. I think you already know my story, but I was working my first ever full time job. I was sleep deprived. I was addicted to weed. I was in a relationship with a girl that I didn't trust. You know, you wake up sleep deprived. It's cold and wet outside, and you have to wear like, like gay uniform and gay little professional shoes and a tie and everything. Commute, taking public transport like a fucking peasant. Sometimes there's like crackheads on the tram, or sometimes I'd go super early and it's just dark and there's no one there. It's just like a dystopian reality. Do my work shift, try and fast walk back to the tram to try and get the earlier one, but often miss it because you just don't get there in time. And then the next one, you've got to wait like 12 minutes. So you just stood there in the cold waiting to go home. And it was this one day when I was in this dark alleyway walking home where I just broke down crying. And I realized that in a very logical way, I may as well kill myself if I'm not going to change this. I need to get rich or die trying. It was a very logical, objective decision that I made that day. And I don't want your like pity or anything because obviously it worked out for me. But what the point of this message is, basically every single rich guy that I can think of, every guy I know who's like killing it, has had one of these moments where life was so bad that they had this insight. Yep, I've just got to get rich or die trying. Every single one of them. And so if you're living a shit life right now because of your finances, maybe there's a few things you can do to kind of like turn on this insight. And this video will be particularly helpful for the guys who are actually worse off, which is probably you, who are not in absolutely terrible situations. Because most guys who want to get rich, who want to level up, they're not at like, some shitty survival level where, that life is absolutely terrible. They're comfortable. That's the harder part. So I want to walk you through, if you're living a bit of a comfortable life, maybe, it's like not good enough. So it's definitely on the more negative side, but it's just not really bad enough just yet. I want to walk through autistic steps on you being able to turn on that feeling of like get rich or die trying. Because I'm telling you, it's fucking awesome to have that insight. There's a certain level of like lethargy that a man has before he has that insight. Like just imagine me in that scenario, that lifestyle where I was living in this apartment, I'm going to work full time. Imagine, my values, how I talk, my beliefs. Imagine me sat in like a 9 to 5 like office with like obese white people. Like, could you like look at my fucking physique? Like, could you imagine me fitting in there? Like, just imagine me there. You could imagine that I'm like kind of autistic with like the work. Like, I was like on the minute picking up the calls and whatever. But it was just so out of place. And with the cold outside, and it was so uncomfortable, and having to take public transport. And I have like kind of like PTSD on public transport because some guys tried to fucking stab me once on the train. So for me, it was like that was a bad situation, right? And so that's why I was able to basically feel so shit that I could slingshot past that. So that day where I got that insight, I still had to do the same thing. I still had to go to work the next day. But there was like extra zest behind it. I was suddenly putting in the pieces of to change this, like rapidly change my circumstances. So within that point of getting that insight, within like 2 weeks, I changed my full-time job to a part-time job. And then I was in this part-time job for like a week. And then after that, I changed the part-time job to a 0-hour contract where I was working in the homeless shelter. I bought a laptop and then I started to work on businesses whilst on my shift in the homeless shelter. So at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., I'm taking my laptop there. Imagine it's like pitch black. I'm sat in like the security room, and I'd just be on my laptop learning how to like drop ship. I went through free code camp, like I was learning coding, drop shipping, flipping on eBay. I was making YouTube videos. I was writing some ebooks. I was learning animation as well. I thought that was a cool skill. There's a few other things. I was trying to be a rapper as well. Like I wrote my own little rap song. I wasn't very good or anything, but I was just like trying it. And I was basically getting paid to like try and make these businesses. So it was kind of like a godsend, like this random job that I got. So in the space of just a few weeks, I go from like a depressed, suicidal 9 to 5 worker to like this guy who's got like zest in his life, who's at his new job, overlapping the job with businesses as well. Very quickly, I'm trying businesses. Very quickly, I started to make money in them. Nothing massive, but dropshipping particularly, I started to make, I think it was, the number I remember was about £400 profit in 1 month, which is pretty fucking awesome, right? When you're like just starting off. It was like my first or second month dropshipping. And yeah, so very quickly, I was able to change up my life. And then you know the story. I moved back home, got on YouTube, whatever. So the first like 2 years of my YouTube journey from 2020 to 2022 was colored in this kind of energy of get rich or die trying. And that's why I was so consistent. I posted a daily video from sometime in like 2020 to like late 2022. It was like 2 years straight where I posted daily, which is unheard of, right? That's like fucking huge consistency. But in 2022, I just got comfortable. My life wasn't bad enough to have this same energy of get rich or die trying. I was making like $20,000-$30,000 a month. I moved over to London, and then I moved to Dubai because I didn't like London, and then I hated Dubai. So then I moved to Thailand, and I was there for about two months, and I hated that as well. So now we're like early 2023, and that's when I broke down. I fired the team. I didn't know what to do with my life, and the sort of month or two where I was like struggling, where I moved back home. That's where that idea of like, yeah, get rich or die trying came back in, where I was like, yeah, like you're sitting on a fucking golden goose. You could become an entrepreneur here. And I very quickly went from like 20K a month to 100K. And then I went up to like 200. And when I made the 200 and 100 or so, I got comfortable again. Because for over a year straight from 2023 into 2024, I made over $100,000 every single month. So in 2024, I got comfortable again, and I stopped caring about money. I stopped desiring money. I just got bored of this journey, and things plummeted because of that. And it's only now in the last honestly, in the last week, that this idea of like, yeah, like this shit's important. It's good for your life to have like this work that you're grinding. I'll tell you the truth. It's actually come from a girl. Like I met this female entrepreneur. We've been talking about our businesses, and when she saw mine, she was just like so excited for me. I think I really needed that energy. I said to her, like, her energy was just so contagious because she was just so excited for like my entrepreneurial success, and seeing her enthusiasm for her making her money kind of like jumped it up in me, where I was like, yeah, like, you know what? When I look back over the last few years, the times where I've been making money has been the most fun times for me. And this is something I just want to make a quick point. Maybe I'll make a full YouTube video on this, but this is something that like my industry, like the self-help, self-improvement space, all those little nerds, like those teenagers hate on it. Like I realize now I had such negative views towards making money because of my audience, because of like teenagers who think that it's like scammy or wrong to make money. A lot of people think you're like a bad person when you become rich. And so I've always wanted to appeal to like the masses, like the peasants, the people who they're just viewers and consumers. And yeah, I took on their beliefs instead of staying authentic to mine. I've liked making money. The thing is, like, if you know me, like I'm not a very materialistic person, but it's like a score. It's like a fun game, and that's like the high score. It kind of keeps you like when I desire money and I work hard for it, it keeps me like stable and consistent. When I stopped caring about money, the same way that when I stopped caring about status and about kind of like the status that comes from like winning a martial arts fight, like that's the life I'm living now. That kind of pursuit of status, of like looking cool, of making money, it kind of like hunkers you down, which is nice. Like I had ultimate freedom in the last year because I had money and stuff, I had clout, and I didn't care about getting more. And so because of that, I was like just living like a fucking white girl. Like I was just traveling around, staying in expensive hotels, hooking up. And you get my point. I was just like living by degeneracy. It's like when you don't have a pursuit to work hard for, when you don't care anymore about any kind of metric or win, when you stop seeking status, at least for me, my life actually gets worse. Like all these fucking, like, these cute little gay little books and these authors who are all gay with skinny necks and these podcasters who are all little pussies and everything. And they all talk ill of like money and status, and you should just be cute and not wear shoes and sing Kumbaya and go live in the fucking forest and shit. I thought I wanted that life, and I'm telling you, like, I did achieve it. I achieved that life. You saw me. Like, I lived in the fucking mountains. I lived on a fucking farm. Many people don't know this. I went off grid. I like fucking lived on a farm for like a month, and I was like fucking bored as fuck. I was so bored. I thought that's the life I wanted. Turns out, like, being a recluse and a hermit from society is fucking boring. It's so boring. The pursuit of status and wealth is actually genuinely more fun than the gay, like, spiritual kind of non-desire. I've done both, and I'm telling you, like, it's impeccably boring not being a hard-working, status-seeking, ambitious man. I achieved the goals. I didn't need to desire any more status, and I was just fucking bored because man is meant to fucking work. There's a quote in the Bible: idle hands are the devil's workshop, something like that. Like, basically, when you have free time and you're not grinding, that's when the sort of degeneracy will seep in. That's when the laziness, the sloth, the gluttony will seep in. So for me, that this was a reminder just recently, again, which was like,
when it's time to start your business, it's time for shop.
When I'm in one of these seasons of my life, like get rich or die trying, it's like my life just feels so much more zestful. Like I'm more social with people. I don't feel as like weird, like weird autistic weirdo. Don't feel like that. I keep myself kind of like groomed better. I'm like more confident with people. I'm just happier and smiling because I have something that kind of hooks my attention. I have something to put my manpower into. I have my projects, my business. I have like my fitness pursuit, like kickboxing. And it kind of, it constrains your life in a really positive way, because ultimate freedom, where you can do anything you want, or let's say not just where you can do it, but where you are doing anything you want, is actually not nice. Like, people don't realize, let me tell you right now, this is a weird point for me to make, but you expect to become rich, so listen to this, right? When you become rich and you can do anything you want to do, you thought that was like the point of life. Let me tell you, it's kind of a curse. Like, just think, why would that be bad? Why would it be bad to be rich and have all the options available? Because it causes overthinking. And suddenly you become like this fucking ADHD, fast-paced motherfucker where you're like, oh, let me try this, let me try this, let me try this. Having options is actually not good for the human brain. There was a study I saw once. What will get you more sales when you offer 3 flavors of like a snack? Imagine you're a salesman. You offer 3 flavors or 22 flavors. Anyone who's logical will tell you 22 because more flavors, so you can more customers can pick out which one they want. They'll actually get less sales with the 22. When you just offer 1 or 2 or 3 kinds of things, it kind of constrains the customer's decision so that it's kind of easier for them to make the decision on what they want. There's such a thing as like decision fatigue and overwhelm. And that's what happened to me in my life. So when I stopped focusing on getting richer and building up more status, and my life became so free that I could do whatever I wanted to, suddenly I was like this little skitsy little ADHD. Oh, let's just go to London for a week and stay in that 5-star hotel. Oh, let's just go to Amsterdam. Oh, let's just do this. Let me move to Scotland. Let me move to Dubai. Let me move to London. It's like, oh, it was all just this fucking mess. As soon as I constrained my life again, which was like, okay, I'm going to go win this kickboxing fight. So now I have to live close to the kickboxing gym. Now I have to live close to where my coach lives. Now I have to eat in a certain way. Now I can't go to sleep past 9 p.m. Now I have to train twice a day at this time, which means that I can only work at this time. It's like that constraint kind of gives you like a bit of ease, where now it's like this structure to my day.